Yo, Lucky Lefty podcast. It is my fault we're late tonight. I was getting content ready. Great show tonight. Cover a lot of topics. Answer your questions. We got a big topic for the second half. If you were taking or conducting a college football head coach draft, what would your top 5 picks be? We're going to talk about it, Left. We're going to talk about it. Very interesting conversation that took place on the Move the Sticks podcast with my guy Bucky Brooks, our guy Bruce Feldman, and who? Daniel Jeremiah. Had to get the 3 names. YouTube, smash, like button. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CFE Nation. The Onora boys are in the building. Audio edibles every day. Home of the misguided passion. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. Man, bro. This cold is killing me, bro.
I already know.
I've been draining all day.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a cold/fever where it's draining into your throat and out of your nose? It's crazy. It's like
you got to get them IVs, man, because when you sweat, you got to get the IVs.
I'm all good with that. I got hydrated twice a day, so I'm straight.
Hell yeah.
I'm straight. Let's see. Where do we start? So, I put up a tweet early today, Left. And the purpose of this tweet, of course, was, people took it and went left with it. It was to basically promote the show. And the title of the show is Back at One. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, having a producer mind that I have, I was like,
right.
I'm going to do it like this. People went left to the personal. You're trying to beat your chest as a reporter. Like, man, sit your goofy tail down. It's over your head. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to continue to hold this L, go right ahead. So I sent out the tweet, and here you go. Now, I sent this out in May 25th.
Yes. I'm glad we're addressing this.
May 25th, a month ago. I said, this is going to be a race to the wire. That means the finish, right? That's wire, right. That's the finish?
Yeah, the finish.
National Signing Day? Okay. For Justice Scott. 2 schools that were once his clear leader and the newcomer that feels like they have a great shot after closing the gap. How many teams did I mention, Left?
2.
Because I want to be real elementary with people tonight. Because people like to take what we say and then spin it the way they want to spin it and then go off and say other stuff. I want to be real simple elementary. I got my bullet points tonight, Left.
That's right. We got the paper out. Good.
I got my bullet points. Okay. I mentioned how many teams, Left?
2 teams.
3.
Oh, 3. Yeah.
I mentioned 3 teams. 2 teams that were his clear leaders.
Clear leaders, yeah.
Meaning at some point during his recruitment, they were ahead of everybody else.
That's right.
It was clear. The newcomer that came out of nowhere. Just came out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
Where did they come from? They weren't in the gym in the fall. Their coaches weren't watching them play basketball in December. Where the heck did they come from? That's the setup. Spoke to Justice Scott twice this weekend.
Twice.
First time was Sunday night. Second time was yesterday at about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Now, I tell people all the time, our conversations are very
non-football related.
Yeah, very Chicago, dude. I don't.
You say take it to Chicago, very Chicago.
Yeah, very Chicago. You know, it's like we'll talk about certain foods, pizza spots. It's just unorthodox. You know what I'm saying? If I'm watching a game, a playoff game, because he really loves basketball, I'll mention the Sacramento Kings and back and forth. You know, whatever.
Chicago stuff.
Yeah, so let me tell you how Chicago, the Sunday conversation was, right? It was pretty much, yo, you good? You happy to be done? Like,
great
man,
question. Great lead question.
Yo, man, you have no idea. Chicago question. Yo, you catch up with Cardell? You a Chicago dude. So I know you're going to catch up with the Chicago dude at whatever visit you go to. Yeah, we kicked it. All right. He good? Yeah. You come back, I put him up on a pizza spot on the north side. And he said, yo, I'm about to go to this spot. I'm about to go to the spot and get a pizza. Laugh. He's laughing. Chicago stuff, bro. Chicago stuff. I know he just got back. Chicago. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, because that's what everybody else is doing.
I'm just
kicking the
Willie Bobo, as we say in Chicago. The Willie Bobo. I'll hit you tomorrow. All right, bet. That's it. Because I already know everybody else is trying to sweat it. I'll hit you tomorrow. So I hit him Monday. You know what I said? You know what my lead question was? Or my lead statement was?
You had a good one at first.
Yo, that cat Phoenix Gill is killing this summer, bro. Y'all might have a chance to go to downstate 3 years in a row. He's like, yo, I know.
You touched something different.
Yo, I know, man. By the way, Phoenix Gill, son of Kendall Gill, has played with Justice Scott the last 2 years. They've both gone downstate in basketball.
Did your research?
Like, yo, this dude is averaging 30 points over the summer. You know what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, little tidbit.
Over the summer?
Over the summer. 30. Putting in work, love. Putting in work. You know what I'm saying? Right now, he's about 6'3" right now.
So that got to put you in the top 25 in the country, right? If you average 30 over the summer. Because I mean that's hard to do in high school circuit.
No. He's averaging 30 over the summer. Multiple tournaments. If he hits any growth spurt, it's a wrap. You know, Kendall was 6'6", long arms. He's about legitimate 6'3", long arms, point guard, combo guard. You know what I'm saying? That's the conversation. So now we start digging into it.
Start warming up a little bit.
Yeah. We start digging into it. So everybody's like been wondering, like, yo, June and this, that, and the other. And so look, he visited Notre Dame in March, right? He visited Notre Dame in March because he feels like, yo, I already know what I love about Notre Dame.
Exactly.
We're going to get to this. He already knows what he loves about Notre Dame. He knows that, right? So
knows what he's getting.
Yes. When he backed off his commitment on the 31st, it was after conversations with the people around him, his parents, and his own response to what he knew had happened. And he did not want to be shady in his recruiting practices. He didn't. He backs off. The first time, this is documented. Go to the show immediately after I talked to him in December. Brian Driscoll has notes from our conversation after I left the gym with him that I shared with him. Oh, it's documented. I got facts, and it's in my phone.
That's right.
It's facts. The first conversation we ever had, all this kid did was rave about Michigan. That's all he did. That's all he did, Left. What's your recruit? Man, right now, man, I love Michigan. Man, they got this system of accountability where they keep us in check. You know what I'm saying? From an education standpoint, football standpoint. This first conversation we had, dude, I just asked him how his recruitment was going. This dude just starts laying everything out, Left. Like I told you, just fully transparent.
Well, you know, Chicago loves what Michigan is bringing down.
Wait. What did I tell you? I've been sitting down with high school kids.
What Michigan is bringing.
Who's out hustling everybody in Chicago.
And then you get a hardworking man in Elston up there.
So I want to stay. Let me stick to my bullet point. Because I'm being real. I'm going step by step, line upon line.
He breaks open. You just general. How's recruitment?
I didn't even ask him about Michigan. Yo, so what's up? How you feeling about your recruitment? Floodgates open.
And you like, oh, heavy Michigan, just heavy. Man. They can't do no wrong. Well, did he visit Michigan as many times as Notre Dame?
At that point in time, I believe he had been to Michigan twice.
Okay, so it's still some new stuff going on. Okay, so he might miss a couple of things on the last visit, right? You know.
But see, at that point in time, you know who else was high on his list? But they had a coaching change. And they would still be in his top 5 today, I believe, if they had made a different hire. And that's the University of Wisconsin.
Really?
If Wisconsin had hired their defensive coordinator as the head coach, Justin Scott would have Wisconsin in his top 5.
What's his name? I like him too.
He played for Wisconsin. He played for Wisconsin.
He was a DC at USC. Then he went back to Wisconsin. I like him,
man. Jim Leonard.
Yeah, I like Jim Leonard. Yeah, it's crazy because he was there for a minute at Wisconsin too, and they didn't hire him.
Jim Leonard. So, like I said, line upon line. This dude's man, he's raving about Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Man, I love they got this. Why does that matter?
Why does that matter?
Sometimes in the life of high school kids, they don't necessarily come into high school fully focused on academics.
Yes.
Justin Scott is a kid that has grown to become a leader on and off the field at St. Ignatius College Prep and has grown to want to be great in both areas. Didn't necessarily start out that way, but he's grown to want to be great in both of that areas. So look, in his recruitment, he is looking to be held accountable. He is telling you, I need that. I want that. I want that vibe. I want that family type vibe. See, I'm listening to him, Left. He's talking about Michigan, but he's telling you what's at the top of his list and what's impressing him.
And they're scoring great numbers in those areas.
Right? And he's telling you they're the clear leader. I leave the gym. It's a fact.
Like, yeah. So what is? I mean, how do you even ask another question?
I did not ask a question. We just had a conversation for 30 minutes, Left. I asked one question. This is what I'm trying to tell people, bro. I asked the young man one question, and I got a 30-minute conversation that flowed. And I stopped him. And I said, you know what? Man, he would have stayed there and talked for another 15 minutes. I said, you know what? If you
had to move around, he would have kept going.
It was a Tuesday night, bro, in December. Jeez. He had school the next day. I said, man, go ahead, kick it with your friends, Baron Brown and the rest is, they're probably going to grab something to eat. I said, man, go kick it with your boys. I'll talk to you next week. Bet. I leave. I call B. Driss. I give B. Driss the whole spiel. Everything. Here it is. This is what he's saying. This is Notre Dame. Notre Dame was his man, was the school he talked about before he got the offer. He was waiting on the offer, right? So what happens? Notre Dame goes on the attack with Mardus Freeman. All of a sudden, the coaches visit the school. Next thing you know, everything's up, right? Next thing you know, you're hearing the buzz. Notre Dame's in the lead. Let me preface this and bookmark this, Notre Dame fans. After Mardus Freeman, who do you think was the second most important recruiter at that time for Justin Scott?
Tommy Rees.
Tommy Rees. Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
Benedict Arnold himself.
Notre Dame takes the lead. Mardus Freeman and Tommy Rees. Tommy Rees is the one, spearheading.
Not Al Washington, though. Now remember, we haven't mentioned.
I didn't say Al Washington didn't play a role at this time. Right. I just said
he wasn't the one leading either.
I'm just saying, who was that dude when the jump was made and Notre Dame jumped to the front of the pack?
That's right.
Michigan was the clear leader. Notre Dame becomes the clear leader. Justin Scott sets a decision day on his birthday, January 31st. Everybody else was slow playing Justin. Now, I want you to keep this in mind. There's only one school that didn't slow play Justin Scott. That's Michigan. Everybody else slow played Justin Scott. Everybody. Notre Dame slow played him. Ohio State slow played him. Miami slow played him. Everybody else came in late. See, because they got the buzz that he was getting ready to commit. It hit the fan. Oh, snap. He's about to commit? January 31st? That's crazy. He's a 5-star. Now, we got to do something about this. So there's a collective movement to get to Chicago. Collective movement to get. Here comes Ryan Day. Man, you got to think about this. You got to come take an official visit. You can't do that. You got to look at what Larry Brown has done historically. Chase Young. The Bosa brothers. Like, come on. Wait a minute. You got to think about this.
Wait a minute. Is Ryan Day taking he taking credit for that?
I mean, the dude is on his staff. I would point it out too, Left. I'm just saying.
I hope not. I hope he ain't taking credit for them Bosa brothers, Ryan Day. But whatever, we can move past that.
That is urban. You're right.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
but it's the same D-line coach, though. It's the same D-line coach.
Okay, that's fair.
It's the same D-line coach.
I'll let it slide.
Right. Same D-line coach.
Born on third base, that brother.
Notre Dame takes the lead there, clear lead, right? Partner that with his man, really great relationship he has with 24 commit wide receiver Cam Williams. They're boys, right? Get to play with my boy. Man, as I said before, if Mardus Freeman, if recruiting was about the head coach, 5 stars would play for Mardus Freeman. If that was just it. If it was as simple as my decision is which head coach I want to play for, it'd be simple, right? Now, I told you Michigan was hustling. Now the whole time, here come the new dudes. Guess what Michigan keeps doing in the background? In true Jim Harbaugh style, just keep plugging away. Don't get loud. Don't get loud. Just keep plugging away. Yeah, we hear it. Just keep plugging away. Right? You know why? We jumped on him first. He knows what a love is. Right? Calls Notre Dame, lets them know. Man, has a conversation. I'm not going to commit. And hey, Notre Dame says, we understand. Yeah, do that. Do that. It's all good. He sets the official visits. At some point around somehow, some way, he is in the vicinity on a spring trip, right? There has been previous contact with the University of Miami, but on this just random, unofficial spring something, man, further contact is made, right? Man, we got to get you down here. All right. Goes for the visit. Man, it's Miami. He's a Chicago kid. It's Miami.
It's like taking that Oregon trip.
Bruh.
I'm going to get them shoes, man.
It's Miami. Not only is it Miami, Jason Taylor is his defensive line coach. Hall of Famer. His recruiting coordinator is Alonzo Hotspur.
Jason Taylor's over there now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, defensive line coach.
I knew he was at Aquinas for a minute.
No, he's at the U.
Oh,
defensive line coach.
That's a good bargaining chip.
Oh, you think so? Mario Cristobal, known as a really good recruiter.
That's a good little strategy over there.
So Miami starts to do the most. They just go crazy, right? They showing up at this dude's locker with flowers. They decorating his locker, bringing them birthday cakes. I'm mentioning things that girls used to do over the top in high school when they liked the dude. They just doing, man. They showing up at his baseball game. They asking to wear his varsity jacket around the school during the day. They doing way too much to get his attention, right? They're doing everything, right? But it's working. It's working. And because he's responding to it, here comes all the news. Crystal ball here, crystal ball there. Miami's leading the way. Miami's doing this. Miami's doing that. And the whole time I'm talking to you, Left, and I'm telling you, he ain't leaving the Midwest.
99 yards and fumbled.
He ain't leaving the Midwest.
No.
He ain't going nowhere.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not leaving the Midwest. Y'all, people can say what they want to say. That's fine. You know who else I had to laugh with? Me and Cam Williams. In the DM, like, yo, this Miami stuff is funny. He was like, well, I know. We knew. You know who else knew? Take a poll of half of the seniors that are big-time players in the city of Chicago. They knew he wasn't going to Miami. See, the streets talk. Up here in Chicago, the streets talk.
Yeah. He probably, because if he's talking about this accountability thing, Miami is not the place for that.
So you know what I did, Left? As a responsible journalist, I contacted my guy that covers the Miami Hurricanes, and I got information. I said, tell me, you feel confident? Yeah, we feel really confident. I said, explain to me why you feel confident.
Great question.
He told me. I said, okay. I said, I said, okay. Yeah, he told me. I said, okay. That's why you guys feel confident. I said, you know what? If I were you, I probably would feel really confident too. People are like, oh man, He told them he's silently committed. All these other stories. So the same day, I said, you know what? I know how to find out what's really going on. I called my Miami Connect that played at the U. That's connected. They got the real story. You know what the real story was, Lil? They did everything to get his attention in glitz and glam. Told the young man, we're starting with you. Just like Jimmy Johnson started with Russell Maryland, a defensive tackle, to start his run in Miami. It set it up perfect. Oh, man.
That's perfect.
Nostalgia. Same position. You're the one. You're the anchor of the rebirth of Miami. Oh, man. They might as well have brought in Luke with some dances.
That's right. That probably would have got him. That probably would have sent him over the top. That would have been overwhelming at that point.
Hey.
Yeah. He was
Doodoo Brown.
That's the only thing he was missing now. You talk about sealing the deal. That's how you seal it. You're going to get the attention and everything else. But that's that Miami you can't get nowhere else, you know.
Oh, man. Check. Yeah, you're probably right. Back in the day, if it was back in the day, they probably would have got that key.
They would have got it. Easy. Because that's how you got to sell Miami. Yeah, you got all the Hall of Fame, but all the Hall of Fame players came there because of what Miami got.
Right.
What you mean? Those players know what Miami has to offer.
Uncle Luke and Wet Willies, right?
Yeah, that's what. Man, listen, they didn't accumulate all those great players for no reason. Because Miami and Coral Gables is like a uppity private school.
Oh man,
you know.
Oh man. So let's stay on topic, right? So I'm digging, and I hear, yeah, bro, I feel good about this kid. They want me to talk to him. They want me to fly down next weekend when he comes so I can talk to his mom. Hit the brakes. I said, what? They want you to fly down to talk to who? Talk to his mom. I said, oh, it's a problem. I said, if they're flying you down, not to talk to him. You don't need to talk to him. Man, we really need you to talk to his moms. Tell him how it is. Tell her how it is for you, going from Chicago and growing up and da-da-da-da-da. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it. He had more pressing matters. Even though he had more pressing matters, they tried to offer PJs Sunday morning to get down there right before they left. And I said, they panicking.
Yeah, they start throwing out that. That's
they
like
panicking.
Yeah.
And that's when I said for sure, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Panic is real. So once again, my tweet. 2 clear leaders. A newcomer that did everything Miami.
They tried.
And I still say it's a race to the finish. They're still gonna keep trying.
Miami gave you your best NIL pitch of all this new stuff coming out. That's their best.
No,
that's their best
NIL. You're the linchpin of the class. You're the most important recruit of the class. Relationship development from NFL Hall of Famers. They gave everything. Miami gave him everything. They just couldn't flip mama.
Just like Air couldn't flip Jordan's mama. Had to get them royalties.
Couldn't flip mama.
And Notre Dame's #1 in mamas.
Mama's
That was never an issue for us.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
We failing in the mom department now.
So once again, Notre Dame, what's the title of tonight? Back at square one. Back at one. My tweet from May 25th. The newcomer, hey, they came out of nowhere. Where'd they come from? First clear leader, Michigan. Next clear leader, Notre Dame, after the power move that they made. And here we are. All the news after the Ohio State visit, you start hearing, oh man, Miami's out. Miami's fading. No kidding. Oh, it seems to be Notre Dame and Michigan. Notre Dame is in a good spot. Dude, Notre Dame has been in a good spot with a chance since the... Dude, what are we talking about? He makes the decision. But hey, you want to be a part of the decision? Or would you rather not even be in the top 5? Or in the top 2? See, because what people will say is when we say Notre Dame's a good spot, it's like, you said he was choosing Notre Dame. No, I never said that. Never said that. How can I tell another man what he's going to do? I can't do that. Can't tell you that. Third point. You ready for this left? You go over the Irish breakdown. Brian Driscoll has fantastic intel, not only on Justin Scott, Gerby Lambert, Bradley Shaw, Davis Andrews, Caleb Beasley, and all the players that are left on the board for Notre Dame. Message board. IB message board. Go check it out. Go check it out. Fabulous job. Fabulous intel. Check it out. For the official visits, Justin Scott and St. Ignatius. This is crazy, love. When I say this, you're going to die, man. Justin Scott and St. Ignatius started practicing for their season on June 1st, love. June 1st. The entire month of June, he's been practicing, doing some work, and then taking official visits. His visit to Notre Dame was meaningful for him because it for him, and Notre Dame made it meaningful because they had some very honest conversations that needed to take place. But it was important for him because he's like, yo, this is the first time I've been back here after changing my mind.
Yep.
He already knew he was going to dedicate June to the other schools that he felt like, man, I need to get reacquainted with them to find out. I already know how I feel about Notre Dame.
Right.
I need to get reacquainted with them. And people can sit up and debate. That doesn't make sense. That's his thoughts. That's what he wanted to do. That's how he approached it. That's what he decided, him and his people. The crazy thing is, his coach, they have such high hopes for winning the state championship this year. They literally built their offseason as a team around his recruitment, bro. Because normally they were supposed to start end of June, July, like most high school teams in Chicago. Right? But that would be like in the midst of a possible decision. They said, you know what? We're going to move it up. We're allowed to start June 1st. We're going to do this. We're going to take a break. They took a break as a team the week after his last visit. He's on break right now. They're back at it next week, Left. They are focused as a team. They're tired of getting to the final 8 or the step before downstate and losing.
That's right. That's right.
This is, dude, they as a team.
As a team.
And they were determined we are not about to allow his recruitment to impact that. So what does that mean? Yesterday, he told me that a decision is more than likely coming mid to late July. That's what he told me yesterday. Mid to late July, that's probably when my decision is coming. Which means I'm on break right now. So you know what I'm about to do? We're going to chop it up. Download all of this. Chop it up with parents, friends, coaches. Coaches can really talk to me right now because we're on a break. We're not practicing. So we can really get into it. I said, man, are you pretty much clear on things? He said, for the most part. For the most part, I'm clear on things. Cool. That was intel that Brian Driscoll put up. I followed up. What's up? You thinking about making that trek 70 miles later this week? Since you got some time off? Maybe another weekend? He said, yeah, we talking about it.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, we talking about it. He said, we talking about it. He said, but man, I'm so relieved. He was like, man, I'm relieved, man. I got all these, man, I'm just happy to have all these visits out of the way. Clarity. And I laughed. And I said, you do realize that we're kind of back at the first conversation we ever had. And he was like, damn, you're right. After all of that, Georgia, Miami, all of this is coming back to the very first transparent conversation we had where you just told me what it was that you really wanted in a program. That's it. See, all the people out there was like, he's an NIL whoremonger. He's going to be an NIL whoremonger. Crystal ball this, crystal ball that. Sometimes people, man, just want to, they just can't accept what somebody says. It has to be another reason. That doesn't make sense to me. Has to be another reason.
That's true.
Has to be another. Heaven forbid that another team just does a better job in recruiting.
Yeah.
Has to be another reason. Can't be. No. You compare Notre Dame and Michigan. There's no way. Not even close. He's talking about accountability and academics at Michigan. We have that in Notre Dame. It's not about having it. How are you presenting it? Are you presenting it the same way Michigan is so it has the same impact? Because it had an impact from very first conversation. It had an impact on the young man. The way they did it.
Just the way they did it, yeah.
The way they did it had an impact. So once again, it's a fight to the finish. Decision date coming mid to late July. Out of his own mouth. If he changes it, that's on him. But as of tonight, this is what he said. This is what he said.
Yeah, I mean,
So this is my last bullet point. And I preface this by saying my next thoughts over the next couple of minutes are the thoughts of Shaun Davis and Shaun Davis alone. I am not a representative of Irish Breakdown. I am not a representative of Brian Driscoll or anybody else related to Irish Breakdown at this time. I am Shaun Davis, Chicago born and bred. I do not speak for Malik Zaire, but if he wants to jump in after I say this, something's not adding up. The math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing.
The math is not mathing. To me, to Shaun Davis, the math is not mathing. Something's not adding up. It's not adding up. So I'm going to go out there and say this. And if I have to take a hit for it, that's fine. You know where to find me. I have no problem. We can have grown man discussion, whatever. I don't believe everybody in the building is fully bought into Justin Scott. I'm going to say it. Because that's not the way his recruitment is gone. I said it. I'm done with it. Y'all can take it the way y'all want to take it.
I agree with that. But it also falls in line with how we treated Dante. Falls in line with how we really get involved with Keon and the finish of Keon Keeley. I think
for whatever reason, it could be a multitude of reasons. I'm not here to debate what the reasons are, but I'm telling you, the way his recruitment has been handled, nah, that's not a full everybody's on board. It hasn't been handled like that. It hasn't.
But there's been very few recruits that has ever been Indy staff on board all the way. I can't think of a recruit that we've ever had that we were just all on board in the office with. I can't think of one.
Once again, that's
some great recruits.
That's Shaun Davis's personal opinion.
The way that you described.
I'm sorry. No, not said, dude, this right here. And I'm gonna calm down before I put this question up. I'm gonna calm down. Because I want to stay on bullet points. I'm sorry, Brandon K. Why should they sweat him? Sir, if you don't think college football recruiting is sweating and lying, then I don't know what to tell you. That's what college football recruiting is. Lying to kids, telling them what they want to hear, and sweating them.
But that's where the disconnect comes from Notre Dame and the rest of college football recruiting. This is my point. Of course, Justin Scott is not going to be bigger than the brand. Nobody is. So if a recruit is thinking we're going to roll out the red carpet and this and that and everybody's going, no, we're not going to do that like a Michigan would. We're not going to do that like Ohio State and Georgia and even Miami. Miami probably presented a way better official visit and offer than we did. He just knew what was more important to him. That's the problem with Notre Dame. They're not going to be all invested on the crew because they're going to be like, why? We're charging 16% on anything with an ND logo on it. Why would we ever think that one player can raise that percentage on our licensing? It won't. And I think a lot of that goes to, that's why we don't have the 25 stars rolling in. Because we can't even show one of the 5 stars that he feels like a 5-star at Notre Dame. We ran very similar. I thought a lot of what Notre Dame was because of how Coach Kelly revered Bill Belichick so much. Nobody's above the team. Everybody's the same. Everybody gets a replaceable cog in the system. We believe in machine. But this is a Notre Dame ideology. Justin Scott wouldn't come to Notre Dame and feel like, okay, I'm the linchpin of the class. The coaches aren't going to tell him that.
He wouldn't be the linchpin of the defensive class? You don't have to tell him. You don't have to tell him. Ask any fan in the chat.
Make it known either.
Ask any fan in the chat who is the most important defensive recruit in the 24 class. Ask them right now.
I agree. It's Justin Scott. Yeah.
Ask them.
But they're not going to put the effort in behind it on all in effort. The difference between why USC looks so different in the 2 years and 3 years they've been there compared to what they look like with all those coaching changes before is the effort that Lincoln Riley puts in is second to none. He stole the whole Oklahoma staff with him. He said, no, I'm not just leaving. I'm taking the whole staff with me because we all are bought in. But you look at Mardus Freeman's setup, half of his staff was hired by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So right there alone, you're not going to get all in. How can you? Because you got that hidden hand under you the whole time.
Oh boy, that put up that question is very misogynistic, I see. Now, this example is I don't sweat girls. That lets me know everything.
Yeah.
That lets me know everything.
I sweat them.
I sweat them. Especially the ones I want. I sweat them. And I get them.
That's right.
So, man, I don't know. I don't know what world you live in where that's being a simp. That means you have some personal issues. You need to go to some therapy, man.
Hey, he must have never heard of hunters and gatherers.
Girls come to me. I'm the prize. All right. Yeah. All right.
I ain't going with you to no clubs. I ain't going with you out nowhere, no bars, no. I ain't going nowhere with you with no women around.
Okay, you're married, that's fine, but you're telling us how you normally operate. You're telling us how you operate. You know, you're fine, you're married. Beautiful.
Nobody was talking
beautiful.
About girls.
I'm married too. 30 years, same girl. 25 in.
And sweated her.
So what you talking about?
Sweated her from day one.
What are we talking about? And what are we talking about? I'm glad you're married. Abundance and blessings upon your marriage and your children and your seed. But you sitting up here talking real bold because I guarantee you, especially if you got girls, they got you wrapped around your finger. I already know that. And I would venture to say that your wife is probably pretty influential. Can probably get you to do some things. But you go ahead and beat your chest. Talking about I don't sweat nobody. Okay. All right.
But that's the attitude that we carry in the office. That's the truth. We end up having Dante sweating at the end of the day. We have pulled the reversal on him.
Man, look. Left. That's not even why. I just want to give clarity, man. At the end of the day, Notre Dame's back at square one.
Yeah.
They got to fight. They have to make the same impression they made to get out in front. They're going to have to make a similar impression, whether it's in July, whether it's in the fall, or later in it's going to have to happen. Because it's a dogfight to the finish. It's a dogfight to the finish. It's a dogfight to the next. It's the dogfight to the finish.
And we gotta finish. You know, we got some bad stains in the fourth quarter. We're going 0 for 6 on some Kevin Durant versus the Nuggets.
We sitting up here. That's the problem. We said we don't sweat Notre Dame. We don't sweat nobody.
That's crazy to think. Because I guess what? Ohio State sweated Chase Young. Ohio State sweated the Bosa brothers.
Oh, man.
Ohio State sweated all the receivers they got. Alabama sweated the heck out of Tua, Jalen, Mac, Devontae.
Lincoln Riley
really sweating dude.
Lincoln Riley recruited Caleb Williams, left Caleb Williams, and sweated him all over again.
Sweated him all over again.
To get him to USC.
Sweated him, played him, sweated him again.
Oh, man.
The best coaches are sweaters. Wear sweatsuits, all that. We didn't even talk to Caleb Williams. That just shows you the difference. Lincoln Riley sweated Caleb Williams and got a Heisman out of it. We didn't even pick up the phone for Caleb Williams. That's the problem. Not picking up the phone compared to a guy that's just working hard and sweating the heck out of the players he needs to win, the things he needs to win, is the only difference. We were playing golf before, sweating on the golf course. We wasn't sweating no recruits. But in today's era, you look at Georgia. I guarantee you Georgia sweated every 5-star recruit they got. Sweated them. Bagged them up. Because that's what it takes. We're not
this has been a fun show, bro. This has been a fun show. And I'm not here to sit here and say who has who's ahead of who. Doesn't matter. My whole point to get to is that the math is not mathing in this recruitment. It's not mathing. However you want to say it, it's not mathing. And some things that's not making sense. They're just not. And a lot of people want to put it on the kid. No. Nope. Nope.
Nope.
So once again, Notre Dame is back at square one.
Yeah.
Where they started in December.
Yeah. Back at square one.
Gotta make an impact, man. Gotta make an impact. Young man said mid to late July, decision date is coming. That's not much time.
Not much time, but it's time. Hell.
It's amazing. Let me say something. Let me offer as an addendum as we get ready to go over to move the sticks and what they talked about. Something else they talked about concerning the head coach of the University of Michigan. Because I know people are like, man, Mardus Freeman, the weirdo Jim Harbaugh. I understand. I hear what you're saying. I want you to listen to this video, Left, and then I'm going to have you chime in. Because I'm going to ask a very important question. This is from Move the Sticks podcast. Bruce Feldman, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, talking about Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. Take a listen.
Guy, it's hard to figure out how he does it, right? Like, what is his superpower as a coach? And I remember both Tom Rinaldi and I were on the sideline of that game in Columbus. And at one point it was like early fourth quarter, and all of a sudden, like, Donovan Edwards, like blew open the game. And we were in a timeout, and I said, Tom, turn around. Just like, we're on the Michigan bench behind it, and I look at and it was just shock and disbelief, because all those Ohio State fans, I think, were convinced they're going to come get such revenge here on Jim Harbaugh. They're coming into our place. This isn't going to happen. And it happened worse. And I think what was pretty remarkable, there's some guys, when I say the leadership, like, I don't know where they have a nickel back, Mikey Sandler still, number 0, who was a receiver. He's a Boston kid who is super tough. And you feel his presence. Like, I was like watching him as he's leading the team and those guys. And I think the way, just talking to people around the program, what they say Harbaugh's really good at is they go hard at practicing football.
He went on to say something that's very vitally important. He said Jim Harbaugh did it at Stanford, and he's done it again in Michigan. He has become the bully of the Big Ten. They have an identity. Doesn't matter if you like them. Doesn't matter what they've done in the college football playoffs. They have an identity, and they recruit to it.
Yeah, they recruit to it. Yeah,
and it is very much
styles
family.
Right. Yeah, their styles
when they recruit to it.
Yeah.
This is my question. What's Notre Dame's recruiting identity?
Oh yeah, we don't have one.
What are they recruiting to? What are they recruiting to?
We're recruiting to be a top recruiting class. We're not recruiting specifically to anything that pertains to separate ourselves as this is Notre Dame. But when it comes to looking at them stat sheets, we want to be in the top 5 on the stat sheets. But when you take a step back and be like, what's the perspective? Yeah, because we already know what Mardus Freeman wants and what the school wants are 2 different things. We know that. Mardus Freeman, when he came in, didn't talk one instant of some good stewardship at all. Point blank, period. You go to our administration, good stewardship is number 1. You think if we go to Ann Arbor, physicality isn't from the administration to the coaching staff to the team to the building?
To the gravestone, to the headstone of Bo Schembechler, dude, and Yost, and the hockey squad. It's the mantra of the Big Ten. Big Ten physical football.
Their whole recruiting is just different. Oh yeah, we taking this 6'4", 3-star, 225 because he's a monster. Physicality. He may not be the 5-star there, but he's what fits what we doing. You can't name a player on our team right now that fits to what we doing because we're not going to be a running team next year. I don't expect us to be that. But can we? Yeah, we can. But I think because we're such an amoeba type of offense, I mean, even this year, Jared Parker don't got no identity. He said we're going to put together,
let's be fair,
bits and pieces of everybody's stuff and work on what we didn't do well last year. That's not an identity.
Because somebody in the chat asked a question. Are they still in the process of finding that? And that's fair. My point is, you knew from the jump that Jim Harbaugh wanted to be the bully of the Big Ten. He made it known, I'm coming in to bully Urban. He made it known. It took him a while to get there. Urban had to leave, but he's the bully of the Big Ten.
Urban was getting them quarterbacks.
You know what I'm saying? So
Urban was getting QB.
That's my question, Lev. Yes, Mardus Freeman, he wants to run the ball, win in the trenches. You have to recruit to that.
And we don't recruit to that.
You have to recruit to that. And you got to get a quarterback. That's just football in general. You have to have a quarterback.
We're a team with a collection of good players that can fight many styles of fights, which is fitting for an independent schedule. But we don't have a roster to stand alone in the SEC. We're not built like that to play an SEC schedule every week. We're not necessarily built to play a Big Ten schedule every week. But we are built to have a game in the West Coast, have a game in the Big Ten, have a game in the ACC, have a game against an academy school because you got to be built a little for that. So we are a very broad style of team because we can make a fight anywhere we go. But does that mean that the fight we bring in is the fight that's best suited for the victim? No.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something to walking into something where everybody knows and everybody's on the same page and everybody understands the mission and the identity when you ask them, and you go in the weight room and all the weight room shirts say the same thing and everybody's preaching the same identity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's upgrades to it, but the foundation, the pillar is still the same. We don't have that. We have a guy that's trying to bring in a program, update the software,
Mm-hmm.
and we still load it.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't completed the full installation because you had to debug some of the software before you put your installation in there.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Harbaugh was building that computer from scratch. He done went to the junkyard. He done went to Best Buy to get a mouse pad. He done went to Target to get the monitor. He been working on different pieces this whole time. Notre Dame been on the same computer just trying to update software. We still got the TV that look like a box, but everybody got flat screens.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to replace the screen of the box with a bigger screen. Get a flat screen TV. You trying to rework a radio. Get you an iPod.
It's a lot of alcoholics in the chat tonight as we discuss Jim Harbaugh, throwing out a lot of ifs as if they're fifths. And we all drunk. Right? I know. If Urban wasn't gone, they wouldn't do this. Big Ten schedules are soft. Michigan schedule is soft. All I know is Michigan has dominated Ohio State 2 years in a row, on the road and at home. Notre Dame, your turn.
Wait, with the same
Wait.
With the same style now.
With the same style. Notre Dame, your turn. Your turn. They've done it. They've bullied them. They've blown them out. Your turn. So don't tell me but Jim Harbaugh, he can if all day. If they give me the right spot against J.R. Barrett in year 2, I'm in the national championship game. Jim Harbaugh can if that. On the road against Urban Meyer on a 4th down. If he gets the correct spot, his team is in the national championship game. He can if that. We can do ifs all day. We do ifs all day. I'm an Illinois fan. I'm still hot about that game last year. Still hot. Guess what? They lost.
Illinois is about to be physical too. So that's
absolutely.
why it was a close game.
Absolutely.
That's why it was a close game. Because Brett Bielema, when he was reigning in Wisconsin, they was all physicality.
Absolutely.
Every lineman went to the league. They had 3 running backs that was breaking every record. That is what Michigan is doing.
That's right.
So it is a rotation of power that happens in the Big Ten if you fit the Big Ten motto. The most physical team always is the best team in the Big Ten. That's just what it is.
Everybody has to find a style, right? Dabo found a style. Maybe Jim Harbaugh knows, you know what? It's not a lot of Southern kids that's 5 stars that want to come play football in the Midwest. Right? So I have to find my speed.
I can recruit size.
I can recruit size. I can be physical. I can make sure we win this conference and get to the playoffs and give ourselves a shot if our quarterback is good enough. If I get the right combination, I can give us a shot. Right? At least he has a plan, though. He has a plan. It might not ever work, but he has a plan. And he's willing to die on that hill and that plan. So we'll sit and wait to see what that plan is moving forward. Not just for Ohio State, but for Alabama, Georgia, and getting to a championship. Just a plan. And Mardus Freeman has said his identity is running the ball, stopping the run, winning in the trenches. Maybe that plan expands. But we have to wait and see. And if that's the plan, Justin Scott is vitally important to that plan. If you're recruiting to that plan, if that's the plan.
And guess what they did? They went all in. They went all in.
Oh, Michigan? Michigan went all in on that dude.
Because they said, oh, you fit
what we do.
And you may have tons of options because you're a great player, but what we do specifically,
absolutely,
how we win,
absolutely,
is what you do best.
Absolutely.
Regardless of 5-star, all the schools in the world, we're gonna give you this attention because we know as an identity, as knowing ourselves, what we can do with you with our type of play.
Absolutely.
And that's music to a kid's ears because he can see it then. It's one thing to be recruited by all the best schools that tell you, oh, you're going to be our guy, you're going to be our guy. There's another thing to be like, look, this is where you should be because
that's why I say the math is not mathing. The math is not mathing. You can't tell me this is the identity. And then the effort does not look like it's adding up. For the one guy in the class that feels that need at an elite level, the math is not mathing.
But it is, because what is Justin Scott looking at Notre Dame like? What's their identity? They blitz a lot. They got nobody knows what the D line's gonna do. They got some rotating guys. What is the Notre Dame?
Okay, let's be as much because you said this, right? Because you tweeted out something about Mike Elston earlier today. That got a lot of people's attention. I was like, he could talk about it on the show. Mike Elston
is a good recruiter. What do you mean?
He recruit. Not only that. Notre Dame forgets all of a sudden. He walks in a room.
And he's gonna drop that list.
Thank you.
He gonna drop that.
There is no list. There is no list for that position coach at Notre Dame. There is no list.
So we just have a it's a styles make fight. We just have a bad matchup. We got an old wily vet versus an up-and-coming rookie all-star potentially. And Elston's pulling out all the old school moves, the hee-hees, the behind the back, the what's over here, and I hit you with one of these. Elston's pulling out all the OG tricks. He got too much skin in the game. He's like, man, listen.
Miami had the wide receiver coach stopping in seeing this cat. As he was going to look at a wide receiver in Chicago that Notre Dame is in on. They're like, hey, while you there, check on that.
And that's all in.
That's all in. It's all in. Which leads me to my last point, Left. Do you feel like Mardus Freeman is all by himself when it comes to the big time? 100%. Bro, maybe I was bugging. Maybe I
can't think of who's his. Dina McCullough is not his number 2.
Oh, the offensive class is amazing.
Yeah.
The offensive class is amazing. Probably the best since the early 2000s. We don't need to talk about that. But see, the offensive class, the wide receivers, all of that, that's not the identity. That's not what Mardus Freeman talked about. That's not the identity.
He became open to it once he started seeing all the recruits come.
Now the offensive line class is still along the lines of the offensive identity that he talked about. But that defensive identity that he talked about, I don't know. I just don't know. Peter Jones, Gerby Lambert is trending their way. I feel really, man, offensive line is Joe Rudolph. Hey, my brother. Hey.
He's a great recruiter too, though. That's why
Owen Strebick. You got him talking about O-line U on his visit. Hey, Dina McCullough. We're going to watch film of Justin Thurman tomorrow from the 25 class. You already on him. Hey, we already know. The Turner kid the Tyron kid up here in Chicago. That everybody's on. Shancy Stuckey's already on him. And others. Amen. They're doing a great job with all these camps, identifying kids, hiring a new director of recruiting. Hopefully they build a staff around him and keep it going and expand. All I'm saying is the math is not mathing. It's just not. And I do get the feeling that in a lot of ways, Coach Freeman is just kind of by himself, man. It's a lot of weight on this dude. Especially when it comes to defensive guys. And that's not the way it should be. That's the vibe. It always comes down to that vibe. Like, what's up? You know?
That's true.
Man. That's why tonight we said back at 1. We double entendre and crazy tonight.
That's right.
Back at 1 with the situation with Jay Scott. Back at 1 with big time recruits with Mardus Freeman. You get the feeling? It's him running over the hill, trying to save the day.
Yeah, you can only do that for so long.
Man.
You know,
and really, this year is of utmost importance on the field, man. It just is, man. Because until you establish that identity in recruiting, you got to win. You just have to win. You just have to win. You just have to win, man. Lucky Lefty podcast. When we come back, woo, man. Head coach draft. Who would you take with your first 5 picks? Bear with us because we have about 4 minutes of the Move the Sticks podcast that might make some of you fans pull your hair out. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. Back at it, Lucky Lefty podcast. Go to YouTube, smash the like button, subscribe. We are pleased to announce that our page has received 1 million views, man. Let me tell you something. When we started this and we knew the direction we wanted to take it, we are fully on board to talk Notre Dame football with a different spin, but with 100 realness. I can assure you, we're not about viral, boy, because we have so many viral topics that we've left on the cutting floor for the betterment of a lot of different things. But it's because of you guys, man. So, round of applause to everyone that has ever viewed us, gave us the time of day. I don't care if you hit the dislike button. You gave us a shot. And we're going to keep doing what we do. We tip our cap to you, LL Nation, our day ones that continue to support Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Audio edibles each and every day. CFB Nation. Once again, CFB Nation exclusively. We're going to be doing some things. We're going to make the switch next month, guys. Our podcast will not be on Irish Breakdowns thread. It will be exclusively on CFB Nation because we have to get you guys used to us being over there. We're just asking you, man. It's 200 of you guys right now. You guys can go right there on your phone, go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and lock in with CFB Nation right now. Take you a couple of seconds. And we would greatly appreciate you. Left, I'm going to allow you to announce some big news that you're going to be doing this upcoming college football season. that I'm sure is going to add a lot to the Lucky Lefty podcast.
Definitely. Getting back on CBS this year, I got 11 games, 6 in the MAC, and then the other are in like, different conferences. I got like Liberty, one game. I got Western Kentucky. So pretty good schedule. The most games I've had probably since I started. Pretty exciting, man. And it's going to be the hardest thing is the how it conflicts with me coaching, because I got to leave on Friday. So hopefully I catch the last flight on Fridays after the game or something. But, it's a total football season, man. It's a total football season. Every aspect, from the podcast to the coach to the booth. So super excited, man. And check us out. I'll post the schedule of the dates when I'll be on. And, I'm going to keep you in tune. And we're going to have some great moments, man. We're looking to get this TV thing rolling in the Lucky Lefty podcast, CFB Nation on top.
Hey, man, we spinning different. We keep grinding, baby. More and more information, like you said. That's even more content coming up with Malik's game of the week, previewing that. I'll throw a betting line on it. Keep you guys in tune, and we'll have a bunch of fun. Before we get to this topic, let's answer these super chats and acknowledge those. Truman Theodore Dumel, we are becoming a program that everybody sleeps on, getting more elite every day. Just don't let any bandwagon fans in Irish Nation. Appreciate you, Truman. Another one, if we land Gerby Lambert and Justice Scott, what would that mean for Notre Dame football? It means that, I would feel like, okay, I know what the identity is. I see where we're headed. I would really start to feel that. Like, okay, we're not only recruiting towards it, but we're actually completing the task. That's how I would feel, Left. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I definitely, I just enjoy the process, man. I think for us and having these up and downs like we're doing, for it to be year 2, I can only imagine year 5 for a guy like Mardus Freeman. You've had an AD change, you had a program switch, everything that you can imagine has taken place in a short time. I mean, shoot, you even got your boy Laurinaitis left you after 1 year, which I thought was a really good hire. So, this is the gauntlet of Notre Dame coaching.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of in and out of the building. You're going to have a lot of undermining things that take place that you may not have that most control over. But the person that can do it and handle it, or has shown they can handle it to this point, is Mardus Freeman, because he can roll with the punches. And that's hard to do, man, at the major level of college football, is be able to roll with the punches but still be able to produce. That's a whole nother thing. How are you going to be able to produce knowing that you are not getting all in? That you are all in on the individual. You need a little backup. Bigger recruiting department. On top of that, you got to go out there and win. It's a hard job. Not only are you the lead recruiter, you got to go everywhere around the world. You got to stay on that sideline, lead that team to victory each and every week.
Yeah.
Where other programs, they got guys that do that for them. I know for a fact Ryan Day got a staff that helps him recruit, because he ain't no lead recruiter. Coach Alfred probably in there holding it down in the recruiting office. Him and the receiver coach. So finding that right-hand man, I think, is Mardus Freeman's next step in these next few years. Who's going to be that guy that's me, except he handles the background. I don't think it's going to be Dave Poloquin. Maybe it's Amir. Maybe he can cross over into that recruiting space a little bit, be a shoulder to lean on for Mardus Freeman. But, Mardus Freeman got to surround himself with more of his guys. I just think that's what's going to turn the tide for a lot of things, Once you get your guys in, you can do a lot more.
Here's another question I think is viable. I saw it because I think he typed it a couple of times. You can answer it, Left. NC Notre Dame fan, serious question. Shaun and Malik, how would you get a 5-star kid to come to Notre Dame? What would be your pitch?
My pitch, it would have to be involving what I had as a resource behind me. Because I could tell you a bunch of the frivolous stuff. but the things that Michigan is presenting and how they present it is something that is also a coordinated effort because everybody's on the same page. So if I'm recruiting 5 stars, I need at least my top guns with me at all times when we attacking this objective. 5 stars are not a solo mission, in my opinion. So I need my best recruiters, me included. I need to have some key ingredients. I need to have a position coach that's going to get you where you want to go. I need to have the resources to feel comfortable. And for the player to feel comfortable that they come here and that the identity and plan that I put in place, they can see it on the recruiting trip. Not just what I tell them when they sit in my office. And then thirdly, it's got to be able to translate in the season. I need to see some guys before me do it. Justin Scott probably looking at that roster like, who gonna be the Justin Scott this year before I get there?
And this, wait a minute, because left. Woo! You just threw me an alley-oop. Oh man, I'm not a high riser, but left. I swear I'm gonna lay it over the rim. It's gonna look pretty. I'm sorry, left, because the pass is so beautiful. You just threw me. I wish I could windmill it. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be a pretty. I'm gonna get right there, and it's gonna look pretty.
That's right.
It's still gonna make the SC top 10. Left. Something I also tweeted out in the middle of June. I said the young man is paying attention to the recruiting classes and the momentum.
That's right. And Michigan got it right now. Like, come on.
And in the middle and start of June, Michigan was hot. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they signed.
Doesn't matter.
There was recruiting buzz around Michigan and a lot of players that he knows.
He knows.
From the Midwest.
God,
he don't know them dudes from the South. He don't know them dudes from California. But the dudes they get from the Midwest, he knows. Matter of fact, 2 dudes that he knew and were connected to because they were bringing the twins, the Smith twins, that were being recruited by Notre Dame. He knew them from being recruited at Notre Dame, and they both went to Michigan. Doesn't matter how good they are. He had a relationship, so they went to Michigan. Y'all over there?
That matters a lot because what Ohio State went wrong at is they tried to be like how we are. Recruit nationally. Grab guys from all over the world, all the hottest spots. Make your team a national roster. What Michigan do? We got our prime example. Ohio State had to get their quarterback from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Never snowed over there.
Hey, boy.
Where Michigan get their quarterback from? Down the street. Down the street.
Came right
hometown guy.
Came right to Chicago.
Came right down the street. And the connection just means more. JJ McCarthy feels at home. He's like, this is the Midwest. This is the Midwest staple. Ohio State reaching for Texas quarterbacks and California kids. And then when they get to that game, they're like, we missing something. We missing something. Because the stars can't shine as bright when it comes to the Big Ten conclusion. That's why Northwestern's always whooping ass in the Big Ten. Because no matter what you recruit, the Big Ten is about physicality.
Let me tell you something. You can laugh at Northwestern, bro. I was at WGN for 4 years, home of the Wildcats, home of Mr. Wildcat Dave Ennett himself, sports director. Legend. Great dude. Wife makes some great gluten-free cookies every Christmas. She's fabulous. Northwestern will take everybody that Illinois, Notre Dame, Michigan, everybody, Ohio State, everybody that they don't want in the Midwest, and put together the most physical offensive line.
The biggest.
every year. Look, they talent deficient, absolutely.
Talent deficient, absolutely.
Quarterback deficient, and you know what else?
The whole team probably run 4.
Go look at the running backs that play with them. Somehow, some way, they make it onto NFL rosters.
Oh, the white dude. Yeah.
Somehow, some way, they pop up on NFL rosters.
And it's because it's something about recruiting hometown and how it means.
They have Pat Fitzgerald, and Pat Fitzgerald is look.
He's a Midwest dude.
He knows his identity. Carl Sandburg High School out in Orland Park.
Pat Fitzgerald lifts with the team.
He knows.
With the team.
He knows. Hey, this is what we're gonna recruit to. And we're gonna play defense. Our linebackers are gonna be studs.
Our safety's gonna be run fits.
Our defensive
we'll
backfield,
have a fast corner or two, but he's even gonna be big because he lifted with all of us. So now you got a fast, super big corner or in a big old physical team that you can run past. Yeah, you're gonna run past them, but I guess it's gonna be a long 4 quarters, and you better not.
See, I'm glad Connor Never said this, bro. I'm glad he said this. Does Jay Scott want to live and travel and play good teams or play East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and first 3 games? Justin Scott wants to be part of something. And it's not Justin Scott's job to make him feel like he's part of something.
Fact.
That's not his job. And if another school is making him feel like he's part of something, then he don't give a darn about the schedule.
Yeah, clearly.
Everybody wants to look at everything else, right? It's about relationship, man. Relationship.
Because if we're being objective, obviously Notre Dame is where you want to be. You playing the best schedule every year. We don't get cupcakes.
That's easy.
But that's not obviously what's pulling all the best guys.
You know
it's
why?
Not a competition.
That's because I said it yesterday. People are so jaded in recruiting by NIL. They expect every kid to move on NIL. They expect every kid to want this and want that. Dude, the 23 class for Notre Dame is filled with kids that joined Notre Dame because of the relationship they had with the coaches. It's about relationship. Relationship. Dina McCullough getting Jeremiah Love was about Notre Dame, but it was about relationship.
That's right.
That family feeling like they got the truth.
That's right. The truth.
That's it. So you can have this wonderful package in Notre Dame and everything, scheduling, national TV, branding, for 40 years, for the connections, all of that. If you can't make this young man feel like there's a better relationship that he has with another program, you're not getting him. Especially if the mother's involved. Especially if the mother's involved. You're just not getting them. You're not left. And it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. Because this recruitment, the way this recruiting thing is right now, this is literally one of the simplest recruitments that could have ever popped up.
Oh,
yeah, this is
for a test run for a 5-star, the easiest you can pull yourself.
You couldn't ask for a more template of recruiting, a 5-star. You couldn't.
This is supposed to be the blueprint. We supposed to take this Justin Scott blueprint and then apply it and copy and paste.
You know?
Because it's the perfect fit for the type of 5-star that can excel Notre Dame in that limelight of how do we advance the team on a more talented level, competitive level.
before we let you guys get out of here, I want you to check this out. Bear with us. Drafting top 5 head coaches in college football. If you could have a draft, who would be your first 5 picks? Move the Sticks podcast. They had Bruce Feldman, who's a friend of the program, on with them, Bucky Brooks, Daniel McJeremiah. Bear with us. It's really good audio of about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we're going to get to it because some of these picks, I got to throw on the petty train, love.
Absolutely.
I got to.
Guy, it's hard to figure out.
That's the wrong one. I'm sorry about that, guys.
I get to go first, and I'm at a blue blood program. I can hire anybody that I want. I actually think I'm going to take Lincoln Riley with my first pick.
Okay.
I'm going to be able to get quarterbacks, elite quarterbacks. I know he's going to develop quarterbacks. That's a given. I mean, you already start there. I already start with the most important position I know I'm going to be taken care of as long as he's my head coach, because they're all going to want to go play for him. And he's innovative. He's always looking ahead. Got to get the defensive thing worked out a little bit, but that would be my first pick. Buck, you look incredulous there. Who did you expect me to pick?
Wow, I'm surprised. Number 1 overall. I think sometimes your Cardinal pops out, like the closet Cardinal. I think he's
going to win one. It's coming. I mean, it's sooner or later. It might be a couple years. He's going to win one there.
So here's what I say, because Bruce kind of led us to it. I will say the innovation that we've seen from Lincoln Riley in terms of the GT, GH, GY, whatever counter game you want to call it, it has been fantastic. And his ability to utilize that run game with any type of quarterback that he's had, because we've seen him do it with Baker Mayfield. We've seen him do it with Jalen Hurts. We saw him do it with Kyler Murray. That part of what he's able to add to the run game on top of all the stuff that they do with the air raid, man, he is a very, very difficult coach to defend. Until he gets the defense right, though, I got to pump my brakes. I love him, but I got to pump my brakes on that. So now, but you left me with the guy that I wanted from the jump. And so Bruce talked about Jim Harbaugh and what he's been able to do. Look, I'm an unabashed Jim Harbaugh fan, like in terms of the way that he has built his programs going all the way back to USD, Stanford, Michigan, what he did with the Niners. I'm all in. The cultural stuff that he's talked about, I believe in it. And then the old school physicality and toughness. And I know they try not to let a lot of that stuff leak out, but I have heard how they practice. Back in the day when he first got there, the Michigan Mile, making those guys run a mile every Monday, not because it had any necessarily cardiovascular benefit, but a level of toughness. When you talk about having a guy that knows how to beat the bully, there is something that he is able to give his team, a level of confidence that enables them to beat the bully. So, yeah, I'm all in on Jim Harbaugh.
Nice.
You know, I jumped out because didn't want to be in the position of, do I take Dabo or not? Now you almost forced, like, I'm actually going to take 2 Big Ten guys. I'm going to take Ryan Day. I'm going to take Ryan Day to some of the same reasons DJ said about Lincoln. He's really good offensively. I think he's different, obviously, but they are able to get a ton of skill guys there. I think he understands the program. I think he's a leader. I really like some of the intangible stuff. I know that they've had the Michigan problem the last 2 years. I don't ignore that. The other one I'm going to take, because of the way you frame this question, I'm going to take James Franklin. And I get on this whenever I talk about James Franklin as a top 5 coach, and I bring up what he did at Vanderbilt, which still blows my mind because Vanderbilt was horrific before he got there and horrific after, and he got him in the top 25. He's recruited really well at Penn State, and I think this is a big year for them. I like Drew Aller. They have stud running backs again. They have some special players on defense. You mentioned their left tackle, who's like 17 years old still, but like really, really gifted. He would be I know I'm leaving Dabo on the table, and Dabo has national titles, but those are the 2 guys I'm going to take here.
Ooh, I already know who Bucky's taking. I've already written it down, but I'll just wait, and then I'll just flip it over as soon as he picks him. Go ahead, Buck.
Okay, well, I was going to say, I do like the fact that you gave James Franklin his flowers, because the Penn State team that we're seeing now is different. The number of pros that they're putting out, because they're getting these super athletes, that is different than the old school Penn State squad. And so his recruiting efforts and the fact that they are in the mix, even though they haven't won a national title, he deserves credit. I am going to take Brian Kelly, friend of the program. I am taking him because look, you talking about you said building it from the ground up. I mean, come on, that was a layup, and this it's different because he had left Dabo Swinney on the table. But here's what I'll say about Brian Kelly: his long track record for going from program to program and bringing them not only back to relevance, but to bringing them to a higher level, from Cincinnati to Notre Dame to now going to LSU. He gets it. He has a recipe. LSU has probably exceeded my expectations in terms of being back, because I didn't think that was going to be a great fit. His personality and what they had, but they needed some of that after the Eddie Yo thing. So Brian Kelly to me, because I think he's a program builder and he understands how to do it. And he also does a pretty decent job of getting quarterbacks ready to play.
What?
That's your top 5 left. Go
What?
ahead.
Well, I don't. You know how I feel about the James Franklin thing. James Franklin is so underwhelming, even though he has great players. They made sense with that. He had a Micah Parsons and Saquon Barkley. He's got some good guys. Not putting Dabo, but saying James Franklin is a sin. I don't need. It's just like, what are we talking about here? That's not coherent. I think James Franklin always gets put in the top 10 in the beginning of the season and in the bottom 30 by the end of the season every time. But if I was building my top 5, I would definitely start with defensive coaches, because if I was any way involved, I would just know I was a quarterback away if I just get a defensive coach. And one of the defensive coaches I would get would be a Jim Leonard. I would start defensively and get a Jim Leonard, not a Luke Fickell. I would get a Jim Leonard because I know that I got a base. If I'm in college football, I'm starting with defensive coaches. I'm going with a base. I'm going with guys that are shut down and shut around. So Kirby would be in there. He's a defensive-minded guy. I like the things that they're doing. I'd probably 3 out of my 5 would be defensive guys. And then my 2 would be guys that can get quarterbacks. Or no, I'm sorry. My 2 would be guys that would be great with quarterbacks. So Steve Sarkisian. I love what he does with the quarterbacks. And I would take if we could have it, I'd take a Urban Meyer again. I'd take a Urban, because I'm gonna get recruiting with Urban too. Defensively, I would take a Mike Elko, because I know I got a defensive structure. I like what Mike Elko did with Notre Dame. Wish he was there a little longer. Like how he is as a personality. I definitely would play with Gus Malzahn. I like Gus Malzahn's creativity a lot. As a caveat. For college football in 2023, I forgot this guy, but Lane Kiffin. He gets better with the age. The younger the kids, the more exciting and more enticing Lane Kiffin is to these kids. Because Lane Kiffin going to be involved on social media. Lane Kiffin going to be on the up and up on quarterback play and offensive creativity. Lane Kiffin is not afraid of the big moment. Now, he hasn't always came through in the big moment, but he wants the challenge. And any guy that wants to take the challenge on like Lane Kiffin does, and he's talking stuff to Saban as much as he can whenever he can. That's a great coach you want to put in that position, because other than that, all these other coaches have more fame than they do follow-up, i.e. a James Franklin. I love James Franklin for what he's been able to put together on some things, but under-delivered in the most critical spots we can do. Brian Kelly is a program builder, but I'm not taking Brian Kelly in my top 5 because I'm trying to win something.
They said he develops quarterbacks, left. They said he develops quarterbacks.
Yeah, right. Come on, man. He does quarterbacks good service, but he can build a program. Just not one that's going to put you over the top. So you should say like a poor man's Nick Saban or a poor man's Dabo. Because he's very relevant. Brian Kelly going to keep you relevant. He going to keep you in the mix, probably outside looking in, but he going to be there. You're going to be in the area code, the neighborhood. But once it comes down to the nitty gritty, man, he ain't in my top 50. I don't know what these dudes. They maybe got a short list of coaches that they had in front of them, and they ain't really put no thought into it. But the James Franklin one was wild for me personally. James Franklin.
Dabo not
it's
being
safe to say a Kelly. It's safe to say a Brian Kelly. It's safe. That's a safe choice. But this whole Ryan Day thing, I can just feel the inherentness of you being on third base and people throwing you in that position. You can't lose back-to-back years in Michigan, being how you have been as Ohio State, and be thrown in no top five.
Mm.
It ain't math. The math ain't math when it comes to that. Because that's like one of those caveats where I just can't get over. It's one of those things I can't get over. I can't look past that. Yeah, you got great receivers. Yeah, you do some good job recruiting with your quarterbacks. But you losing the biggest game back-to-back years? Unexcusable.
Super chat left as we get ready to get out of here. I grew up a Subway alum and later became an Indy alum. That's what's up, Blue Hawks, Thunder and Bolts. This show brings a freshness, toughness, and authenticity that Indy football fans should be about, especially among alums. God bless y'all and what you've been doing here. Man, that's love. We appreciate that. We truly appreciate that. Our guy D Month, Mr. Food Lover, says, which one do we have? ID offense or defense? Identity offensively?
Neither. I don't think we have neither. I think we have a good players. I think we have a good team. I can tell you what Mardus Freeman wants, but even Mardus Freeman would tell you that's not what we got this year. We got a collection of things that we want to do better, mixed with taking advantage of the talent that we've recruited. Now, that doesn't spell identity. That spells, like we're going to put it together. It's a team project. It's a team project. And with a lot of the big pieces, we don't know yet. We don't know what Sam Hartman's going to really look like. We don't know if he's going to be ready for that challenge. We don't know if our receivers are going to be able to take on that responsibility year one and make a drastic jump from last year to this year in terms of productivity and what it means to the team. We don't know what our D-line is going to look like. We don't know who our best D-lineman is. We've got a young linebacker core that has a lot to be wanting for. And then we got a secondary that has some safety issues but has some great corner play. But what's their identity? I think physicality is going to mean something to this team. It's going to have to. But is Mardus Freeman going to get the support of everybody being all in on this vision? Because that's what it'll take. When Cam Newton was down there in Auburn for that 1 year, they had an identity. And for that 1 year, well, they did it for a couple years with Nick Marshall. But for that 1 year, you see what the best teams have when they have a clear identity. LSU in 2013 with Joe Burrow. Clear identity. Clear. Hell, Cincinnati with Desmond Ridder. Clear identity. And that's what we need to do for Notre Dame to take that next step. It's just a mental understanding of identity. Not just the efforts with showing up to the recruiting, doing all the things that everybody else is doing from a recruiting standpoint, but having the in-house understanding of who we are, recruiting to that. Right now, we're based on having all our players play two ways. Probably the first college football team where our starting 11 offense and our starting 11 on defense, excluding the quarterback, are two-way players. I don't know how that identity turns into winning. Maybe depth later in the season where we can rotate guys. Everybody's interchangeable. Like the NBA, all five can switch. But that's what we are right now. We're a two-way team. That's our identity. In order to play on Notre Dame, you got to play kick return, punt return, one positional offense, two positions on defense. Got to have a 4.0, and you got to do some community service. That's a lot. Now you got a team of two-way athletes. That makes it a little harder to know what identity we rocking with. Maybe we're a chameleon identity. We just going like we have been for the last 12 years, play to our competition. We're just gonna match the style of whatever team comes in the Notre Dame building. If a team want to come in, throw the ball 50 times, we can do that. We'll roll out 50 passes if we need to. If a team want to roll out and say, okay, we're not letting y'all throw, y'all gonna have to run, we can do that. But can we do it in games that we need to win? What are we gonna look like versus SC? Are we going to be a pass heavy? We're going to run heavy? Are we blitzing Caleb? Are we sitting back in coverage and letting the talent be the pass coverage? What's the identity? Are we going to be coming out fast and physical? Are we bend but don't break defensively? Are we looking to score a bunch of points on offense, or are we looking to hit a number? If we get to 30, our defense can hold. What's their identity? Because I can go to Ann Arbor and know when I'm walking in the building what they want to do. I can look at their roster, how their players fit into what they're trying to do. You look at our roster, it's like, man, y'all can do a lot of different things. So we'll see. It always goes back to we do all of this by choice.
Thank you, George.
By choice. If Notre Dame wanted to turn up and be the number one school in the country, we have the funding and resources to do that. We are strictly choosing to be like this. Justin Scott is a choice. It's a choice. And it's a choice because Justin Scott wants to come to Notre Dame. He wants Notre Dame to give him what Michigan gave him. But it's our choice because we don't want to be all in. We want to be like, well, it's Notre Dame. If we offer you, you should be thankful.
Because we don't sweat you.
Because we're not looking to sweat nobody. We offering because if we throw this offer out, you're supposed to be salivating, top 3 instantly. And it just doesn't work like that. And I think the less ego we can have, the better results we can show for. And that's going to come when they start believing in Mardus Freeman.
You know what time it is, love.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, petty story of the day brought to you by Onora Whiskey and NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. Unfortunately left. It's a national story. I don't know if you heard about it. A mother and her young teenage son were getting some food at a restaurant in Chicago. A young man brutally assaulted her. The son goes and gets firearm and murders the guy outside of the restaurant. The whole situation, in my opinion, is petty. The video inside the restaurant shows him being totally belligerent, disrespectful, and he just hauls off and hits this woman in her face multiple times. And
yeah, that's crazy.
If I were her son, I probably would have reacted the exact same way. You're not just about to assault my mom in front of me. That's not happening. Unfortunately, that young man loses his life. His family loses a son. His 2 kids lose a father. And
they got out, didn't they? They got out, didn't they?
Yes, both of them got out. They were released. The charges were dropped. I believe they're going to file civil charges against the city of Chicago for wrongful arrest. But that's an uphill battle.
All of it's dicey. All of it's dicey.
That's an uphill battle.
Because you're really getting off, good for real.
And it's petty because it has caused a fracture within the community. a severe fracture within the community, and I don't think the young man can live in Chicago. I think they're going to have to relocate. The streets aren't going to let him live here, bro. They're just not. And it's sad because, in my opinion, he operated with honor as a son.
Well, why wouldn't he be able to?
The streets, dude. The other side that lost their boy, they're not trying to hear that.
It's a tricky situation.
They're not trying to hear that, man.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation, man. Yeah.
They're not trying to hear it. You know, and with them suing the city, that's in the police department, that's
a lot going on.
So prayers go up to the city of Chicago. Prayers to the family of Ryan Mallett and his family on his loss on today.
What you swimming in the Gulf for? Oh man, crazy.
Oh man,
that's sad. On a lighter, funnier note, Tobias Harris beefing with the Sixers fans. He must be reading the press clippings. They must not be talking to him at the gas station like Justin Fields. And he was like, you ain't going to get another 6'9", 40% from the three, guard the best player on. Well, I think a lot of people would. I think they would. He tried to throw out a crumble cookie. I mean, you can tell he's very hurt. But he is getting overpaid. You know, I mean, he didn't show up in that last playoff, in my opinion. I couldn't tell you was doing all that. But, you know, all these players are a little more sensitive these days. But,
yeah,
it's the truth, Tobias.
Great show, Left. Podcast will be up. I think it'll be up on IB tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Most of all, you make sure that you spend it different. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be breaking down some film on some 25 kids. Left likes. He likes a lot.